Hey, how's the workout going?
Off.
Hunger could be a real issue when you're in a caloric deficit. That is, if you're not eating the right foods in the right quantities. Which leads us to the good news, which is that you don't have to be constantly hungry to lose weight. As a matter of fact, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll point out the most common mistakes that lead to unwanted hunger and cravings in the first place, and how to overcome these pitfalls while staying well satiated on your weight loss journey. And if that sounds good to you, let's dive in, fam. Hands down, the most common mistake I see when people enter into caloric deficit is not eating enough protein, especially at breakfast. Think about it this way. Protein is a slower digesting macronutrient than carbohydrate, which also means it's going to stick with you longer from a fullness perspective. Now let's say you have a super carb heavy breakfast, like oatmeal and bananas. There's not really much protein in that meal to begin with, and with all the carbs you ingest, your blood sugar spikes followed by a crash a few hours later. And when your blood sugar crashes, you feel lethargic and you begin to crave more carbohydrates to boost your blood sugar back up, and the vicious cycle continues.
Is that a loaf of pumpkin bread?
Don't judge me. Or you could add some protein to that same meal and it would help you keep your blood sugar steadier, so you would avoid those energy crashes, you would avoid the cravings, and you would stay full longer. If you're curious to know how much protein to eat with each meal, a good starting point for the ladies is 20 to 30 grams per meal, and a good starting point for the gentlemen is 40 to 60 grams per meal. Just keep in mind, these protein quantities are going to vary based on things like the size of the individual, age, and activity level. If you found that breakdown helpful, smash that subscribe button and stick around to the end of this video for the final tip, which is something that you likely would not expect. Oh, and really quick before moving on to the next step, I would highly recommend keeping some protein-packed snacks on hand for those times that your schedule gets crazy busy. That way you can still get a little bit of protein in. The reason I recommend this is that binge eating most often occurs after an extended period of time with no eating when we're feeling our most hungry. So things like chicken pouches, tuna pouches, or meat sticks were great. I was gonna make a meat stick joke here, but last time I did that, people got super upset, so I'm gonna hold off this time. We call this the goat. Whoops. On a more serious note, when you're in a real pinch, protein powder can come in super handy. The next tip revolves around volume eating, which is exactly what it sounds like. You eat high volumes of foods that aren't going to put you over your calorie goal. And this, ladies and gentlemen, leads us to the third and final tip, which may surprise some of you. And that tip is to eat whatever you want. Oh, f*** off. I'm serious. I mean, within reason, of course, but I mean, if you want to go have a drink or two with your friends, great. If you want some chocolate, go for it. The key here is understanding how to adjust your macronutrients, which are your proteins, carbs, and fats, to accommodate what you're going to be having in your treat later on. So for example, if you want to enjoy a slice of pizza with some friends, you know there are going to be quite a few carbs from the crust and quite a bit of fat from the cheese. So rather than deprive yourself of a slice and isolate yourself from your favorite people, you can just reduce or omit the carbs and fat from a meal or two earlier in the day, so you can enjoy a slice of pizza at the get-together, get your social time in, and still stay on track with your goals. And that, my friend, makes sticking to a nutrition plan truly sustainable because you're not depriving yourself of anything. With that said, if you follow the tips I've outlined for you here, I have no doubt that your hunger will be satisfied even in a caloric deficit. So if you found these tips helpful and you want to keep the weight off for good, smash that subscribe button and leave a comment below to let me know what tip you found most helpful. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay happy. Cheers. Double or nothing? Nailed it.